everybody, this is Eric Garrison again with my second video tutorial for developing applications for Windows Phone 7. This tutorial will focus on using isolated storage settings to save your application settings. So we'll go ahead and get started by creating a new project, and we're just going to do a basic Windows Phone application. And we'll go ahead and name this Isolated Storage Settings Test. Go ahead and save this. Now I like to do my UI in Expression Blend, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to Expression Blend 4 and open this project. Alright, now once that's loaded, we can go ahead and switch to the split view, and I'll go ahead and go down to the content grid and split that up. And the first thing we want to do is add a stack panel to this, just so our controls are lined up nicely. Go ahead and close that. Alright, now before you add anything to the stack panel, go ahead and set your height and width to auto. And get that out of the way. Alright, now we're going to go and add 3 checkboxes, 1 button, and a list box. Name the checkboxes CHK option 1. Set the content to some content for option 1. Set the second checkbox to CHK option 2 and some content for option 2. And for the last checkbox, CHK option 3 and some content for option 3. Now we'll go ahead and name the button BTN save, and content save settings. And actually, let's go ahead and add one more button here, and we'll name this BTN clear and set the content to clear settings. Alright, now for your list box, go ahead and set the height and width to auto on that as well. And set the name to LST options. Now we need to add click events for the 2 buttons that we added, so go ahead and add those. And we can go ahead and save both your code behind and your XAML file. Now you can switch back to Visual Studio and reload the project with the new changes, and you'll see the 3 checkboxes that we added along with the 2 buttons. Now we can go ahead and switch to the code behind for main page. To get started using isolated storage settings, you first need to add a reference to the isolated storage namespace, and that is under system.io.isolated storage. And go ahead and create a variable for this, so public isolated storage settings equal isolated storage settings dot application settings, and this is where your settings file will live. Now to go ahead and get started with this, I like to create a reusable method so I don't have to keep typing the same code over and over again. So we'll create a method for save and forget. For the save method, we're going to need 2 parameters, a key and a value, and both of those are strings. Now to save the settings, it's important that we check to see if the setting exists before we save it. So we'll do if settings.contain and then the key that you added, then we'll do something. And if the setting does contain that key, that means the setting already exists, so we can go ahead and set it directly. So settings equals value. Otherwise, we want to do settings.add and then the key and the value. And that's it for saving the settings. Now we want to add another method to get them. So we'll do a public bool get settings. And bool, or for your get method, this does not have to be a Boolean value. I'm only using this because I'm saving the check property for those check boxes, and those are Boolean values. So we only need one parameter for this, and this will be the key. And once again, you want to check to see if that key exists. So if setting.contains that key, we want to return bool.parse All right, and for this method, we're basically checking to see if the key exists, and if it does exist, we're parsing the value as a Boolean value and returning that. And if the key does not exist, we're just going to return false. So to go ahead and do the save, we're just going to go save settings, and then for the key, I'm going to do option 1 for the first checkbox. And actually, before we do this, we need to build it because it does not know those checkboxes exist yet. So we'll go ahead and build the solution. All right. Now we can go ahead and save this. Option 1.isChecked.toString. And go ahead and copy and paste that. And just change the values. Now when the page loads, we want to go ahead and load those settings as well. So we can do chk option 1.isChecked equals get settings and then the key. So in this case, it'll be option 1. So we can go ahead and copy and paste that and change your keys and your controls. And then one last thing is we want to go ahead and add all the keys that we've saved to the list box. So we're going to do a for each string s key and setting.keys. So for every key in settings, we want to go ahead and get the name of that key. So we're going to do lst option .items.add, then a string.format to keep things a little simpler, and we just want to name and display the key and value. So key value. Okay, so for here we're going to use the string.format and then insert the key and then the key value into that string to display it in the list box. So we can go ahead and build this project and go ahead and run it. And we'll get this. Actually, before we do this, let's go back and write the code for the clear button. And to clear the settings, you're just going to do settings.clear. Now what this does is it removes the key and values for all your settings, so this will clear out everything. So be very careful when you use this and make sure that you want to clear out all your settings. So we can go ahead and build this again and run it. Alright, now just to get started, we'll go ahead and check all 3 check boxes and hit the save button and go back. So we're going to go back and open this application again, and you'll see that all three checkboxes are now checked, and you have 3 items in your list box that are all set to true. So let's uncheck 2 and 3, save it, close out of the application, open it back up, and you'll see that only option 1 is saved now, and in the list box we have option 1 is true, option 2 and 3 are false. So we can go ahead and clear these settings, go back out, open it again, and you'll see that nothing is checked and your list box is empty. And that is it for isolated storage settings. You can get a little bit more elaborate with this, but for the most part it's just a basic key value pair. So you can go ahead and store your object values and go ahead and get started with your applications. Thanks, and if you guys have any questions, be sure to leave a comment and let me know if you guys need anything else. Thanks.